The paradox of power and morality. Why do the worst people seem to rise while the good struggle? Picture this. A ruthless leader seizes power, a dishonest businessman builds an empire, a manipulative politician ascends to the top. Meanwhile, those who act with integrity are often overlooked and left behind. Is the world truly rigged in favor of the corrupt? Or is there something deeper at play? Something about power, human nature, and the way we navigate life itself? The Stoics understood this paradox well. Power is not about fairness. It is about strength, discipline, and understanding the game without losing oneself in it. So, should we abandon virtue to succeed, or is there another way? In this discussion, we will uncover why the ruthless often rise and, more importantly, how you can succeed without becoming like them. Stay with me. This might just change how you see the world. Why the ruthless rise. Imagine standing in a crowded room where ambition fills the air. Some strive with integrity, working hard while staying true to their values. Others deceive, manipulate, and trample anyone in their way. Yet, time and again, it is the ruthless who rise the fastest. Why? Is the world truly designed to reward those who lack morality? History offers countless examples. Ruthless emperors who conquered vast lands, cunning politicians who bent the system to their will, CEOs who built empires on deception. Their success is undeniable, but is it mere coincidence? Or is there something deeper at play? The truth is, human nature often favors those who take what they want, unburdened by hesitation. In a world where competition is relentless and power is scarce, those who seek fairness at every turn often fall behind. Meanwhile, those willing to exploit and dominate seize the advantage. It is a hard truth, but one worth confronting. Yet, does morality make us weak in the pursuit of power? The Stoics would argue otherwise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." A man consumed by deceit, greed, and ambition cannot escape the consequences of his nature. While ruthlessness may bring temporary triumph, it also sows the seeds of destruction. Betrayal begets enemies. Arrogance invites downfall. No tyrant reigns forever. History shows a repeating pattern. The rise of the immoral is often swift, but their fall is inevitable. True power, the kind that endures, is built on discipline, wisdom, and self-control. As Seneca wrote, "No man is crushed by fortune unless he first has been deceived by her." Those who chase power at any cost become its prisoners, trapped in the endless fear of losing what they have taken. So, what does this mean for those of us who refuse to abandon our principles? Should we become like them to survive? The Stoic answer is clear. No. To act without integrity is to lose yourself before the battle even begins. Power is not the goal, character is. Strength is not found in ruthlessness, but in resilience. Success is not defined by wealth or status, but by the peace of a mind unshaken. The worst among us may seem to succeed, but their victories are fleeting. A man who wins the world but loses his soul has gained nothing. The only true triumph is mastering oneself, because no tyrant, betrayal, or twist of fate can take that away. The nature of power. Strength versus weakness. Power is neither good nor evil. It is a force as natural as the wind and tide, shaping the world regardless of human judgment. To understand why the worst people seem to succeed, we must first understand power itself. Imagine two warriors standing on a battlefield. One is decisive, fearless, and unshaken. He does not ask for permission, he takes what he must. He does not wait for the world to be fair, he shapes it with his own hands. The other hesitates, seeking validation, believing that virtue alone will protect him. He assumes fairness will prevail, that those who suffer with humility will be rewarded. But the battlefield has no sympathy. Which of these two will survive? Which will rule? The Stoics understood that the world does not reward weakness. Power belongs to those who take responsibility for their fate, who master themselves before seeking to master the world. As Epictetus said, "How long will you wait before you demand the best of yourself?" History has shown that those who embrace strength, discipline, resilience, and the will to act rise to the top. They do not beg for power, they command it. They are not bound by fear, nor do they waste time resenting those who succeed. They understand that struggle is the price of greatness, and they are willing to pay it. On the other hand, those who reject power often do so not out of virtue, but out of fear. They call ambition corrupt because they lack the courage to pursue it. They condemn strength because they feel weak. They create a morality that glorifies submission, treating suffering as noble and power as evil. But this does not stop the strong from rising. It only ensures that power falls into the hands of those who care nothing for virtue at all. Here lies the great paradox. By shaming ambition, by discouraging the pursuit of strength, society does not prevent the rise of the ruthless. It enables it. While good men hesitate, tyrants act. While the kind-hearted wait for justice, the cunning seize control. Power, like nature, does not tolerate a vacuum. Someone will always take it. The question is, will it be those who seek wisdom or those who seek only their own gain? Yet the Stoics remind us that true power is not found in conquest alone, but in self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The greatest rulers are not those who dominate others, but those who have conquered their own fears, desires, and weaknesses. A man who bends the world to his will, but is a slave to his impulses, has not won. He has merely exchanged one form of servitude for another." Balancing strength and integrity. So, what does this mean for us? Should we abandon virtue to compete with the ruthless? Should we become like them to survive? Strength and integrity are not opposites. They are one and the same. To be strong does not mean to be cruel. To be ambitious does not mean to be corrupt. The world is a battlefield, but victory does not belong only to the merciless. It belongs to those who are disciplined, resilient, and who wield their power with wisdom. The worst people may seem to succeed, but their victories are hollow. They win the world and lose themselves. The wise do not chase empty power. They build something greater, something unshakable. The question is not whether you will seek power, but whether you will master it before it masters you. Who reshapes the world? The wise do not reject power. They wield it with discipline. As Seneca said, "Brave men rejoice in adversity, just as courageous soldiers triumph in war." The path forward is neither to surrender to injustice nor to become ruthless, but to cultivate the strength to rise above both. Fairness is not something we can expect. It is something we must create. And that requires power, not the power of dissension or cruelty, but the power of self-mastery, unwavering action, and wisdom applied to reality. The world does not reward the weak or the idle. It rewards those who see clearly, act decisively, and refuse to be prisoners of illusion. The will to strength. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast abyss. Behind you lies the world as it is, unfair, indifferent, governed by forces beyond your control. Before you lies the unknown, a path only the bold dare to walk. Most hesitate, shackled by fear, doubt, and the comfort of conformity. But a few step forward, not because they are fearless, but because they refuse to be ruled by fear. These are the ones who rise above circumstance, forge their own path, and define power on their own terms. The Stoics understood that true strength is not about brute force or blind domination, but about self-overcoming. The greatest battle is not against others, it is against oneself. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Those enslaved by their impulses, desires, or need for external validation may achieve power, but they will never achieve freedom. The one who rules himself, however, can never be truly conquered. At the heart of this philosophy lies the will to strength. Unlike the passive morality of submission or resentment, this path embraces life's challenges: to grow, to adapt, to impose meaning upon a world that offers none. It is not about control over others, but control over oneself. While the weak are trapped by fear, the strong move forward, untethered from illusions. They do not wait for life to be fair. They seize every moment and shape it to their will. Strength without ruthlessness. But here is the key. Strength is not ruthlessness. Unlike tyrants and manipulators who seek power out of insecurity, the truly strong do not need deception. Their power is self-generated, independent of approval or fleeting success. They do not chase power for its own sake, but for the ability to build, to create, to leave behind something greater than themselves. This is why the worst people may rise to power, but they will never transcend. The ruthless play a temporary game, climbing through manipulation and force. But those who seek true mastery play the infinite game, building legacies, not just empires. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The world does not need more men who take, it needs men who become. The true measure of power is not in domination, but in self-command. Those who chase power for its own sake will always be its prisoners, but those who conquer themselves will hold a power that no ruler, no circumstance, no force of fate can ever take away. Mastering power with integrity. So how do we navigate a world that rewards the ruthless without becoming one of them? The answer lies in understanding power not as a weapon, but as a tool. One that, when wielded wisely, can shape our destiny without compromising who we are. Imagine you are in a high-stakes game where the rules favor those who act without hesitation. If you assume fairness will protect you, you lose. This is the reality of business, politics, and life itself. The ruthless understand this. They take what they want. But does that mean you must become like them to survive? Not at all. Many believe they face only two choices: be ruthless or be a victim. But there is a third path, one that blends strategic thinking with integrity. The Stoics taught that power, like all external things, is neither good nor evil. What matters is how it is used. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The choice is yours. Be ruled by fear, or master yourself. Seek power for control, or use it to create. Become a slave to illusion, or rise above. The world belongs not to the ruthless, but to those with the strength and wisdom to wield power without losing themselves. Power does not corrupt on its own. It merely reveals the true nature of the one who wields it. The greatest mistake people make is believing that life should be fair. But fairness is neither guaranteed nor owed to anyone. The strongest competitors accept this early. They do not waste time complaining about injustice. Instead, they learn the rules of the game and use them wisely. This does not mean abandoning ethics. It means understanding that power is neutral. Those who master it can wield it for good. Many fail because they assume kindness alone will bring success. But power is rarely given. It is taken, not through deceit, but through strength, wisdom, and decisive action. This is not about cruelty. It is about awareness, understanding how people think and act. Strategic empathy, the ability to read motives, anticipate actions, and respond with clarity, allows you to navigate deception without becoming deceptive yourself. Most people are controlled by fear of failure, rejection, or standing alone, but the truly strong cultivate inner power. They embrace discomfort, take risks, and forge their own path despite opposition. The Stoics called this apatheia, a state of unshaken inner peace amid chaos. As Seneca wrote, "Brave men rejoice in adversity, just as brave soldiers triumph in war. Those who succeed do not wait for permission. They create opportunities where none exist." There is a difference between reckless ambition and disciplined strength. The first leads to destruction without purpose. The second allows for hard choices without hesitation. Sometimes power means walking away from toxic relationships, making unpopular decisions, or confronting uncomfortable truths. This is not cruelty, it is wisdom. The key is knowing when and how to apply it. The ruthless may rise quickly, but they also fall hard, because their power is built on exploitation, not creation. True power is not found in taking, but in building, whether it's a business, an idea, a movement, or personal transformation. When you create value, you become indispensable. You do not need to manipulate because your power is earned, not stolen. Mastery is not about crushing others. It is about mastering yourself. The strongest are not those who rule by fear, but those who stand firm in their principles, unshaken by the chaos around them. Power without wisdom is a fire that consumes itself, but power guided by integrity is the force that reshapes the world. Is power corrupt or misunderstood? Power shapes the world. It determines who leads and who follows, who thrives and who remains at the mercy of others. But is power inherently evil? The Stoics understood that power, like wealth or status, is neither good nor bad. It is only as virtuous or corrupt as the one who wields it. As Seneca wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Power in its highest form is not about dominating others. It is about overcoming oneself. True strength lies in mastering impulses, refining character, and rising above fear and weakness. Yet history is filled with examples of power leading to corruption. We have seen leaders consumed by ego, greed, and tyranny, turning strength into oppression. This paradox forces us to ask, does power corrupt, or does it simply reveal what was already within? The truth is, power is not the enemy. Lack of wisdom is. Without discipline, power inflates arrogance. Without virtue, it leads to destruction. How should we approach power? Not with fear, but with purpose. Power should not be sought for domination, but for creation. It should not be used to impose, but to build. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Power is not about stooping to the level of the ruthless. It is about rising above them. The true pursuit of power is not about bending the world to your will, but about shaping yourself into the strongest, most resilient version of who you can be. Power is a tool. In the hands of the wise, it can shape a legacy of strength, justice, and greatness. The choice is yours. Will you let power master you, or will you master it? If this message resonated with you, share it with those who need to hear it. Leave a comment with your thoughts, and if you haven't yet, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. The pursuit of power without losing yourself is not easy, but it is possible. The key is not to reject the game, but to play it with wisdom. In the next video, we'll take another step toward understanding how to rise and remain unshaken.